Hey there. It is weekly check-in time. Um, Last week was a week. I I'm looking at the beams in this pavilion at the park, and there's like an "I love you" written up there. I do love this park. It's Savannah's Preserve State Park. It's one of my local favorite state parks. Um, and after this video, I might go for a short hike because it's in the 90s and very hot out today. But I am on my way to pick up curbside delivery at Target. So every time I leave the house for an errand, I try to stop at a park. It's like a rule I have, and it works really well for me to regulate my nervous system. So, last week, it is, I can't remember the month, the 6th month, June 12th, today's the 13th, 2022. So, what went well last week and what did not go as planned? So what did go well is I picked up more responsibilities at my position at Johns Hopkins. I'm really excited about it. I'm basically teaching 3 different classes now on pre-algebra explorations and pre-algebra, not this current session, Algebra 1 honors and Geometry honors. So I've been teaching these classes, not at Johns Hopkins, but just these particular math classes in general for several decades, and it's really fun to go between algebra and geometry because it's like different. I think it's different parts of your brain. So there's a lot of logic and, of course, shapes in geometry, so that's fun. I got to see a friend that came in from out of town. I got in the ocean, and I found out that 2 of my proposals have been accepted to the Association for Conflict Resolution conference coming up in September, ACR, and that's like a really big deal for me. One is on peer mediation. I volunteer with the online peer mediation platform. And the other one is on coaching. So I will be presenting a 90-minute session on how neuroscience and self-care can prevent and reduce conflict, and coaching is a big part of that. So stay tuned for that and content around that. What didn't go so well is there were some pretty severe storms last week, like probably one of the worst storms I've ever been through in my 46 years of being in Florida. And I've been through like 10 hurricanes, and it was really bad because my apartment, I live in a really old building, like over 100 years old, and it leaked. There was basically standing water on the floor. And it was lightning, like severe lightning. So that was a lot for my nervous system to take in. And I had this other situation where I was triggered, and I do have PTSD. So a lot of the reason why I do so much self-care is to keep my nervous system regulated because of my PTSD. So I was triggered unexpectedly by something I wasn't anticipating, and I did not sleep that night at all. And that has not happened to me in a really, really, really long time. So my sleep was not super great last week. I broke a rib again. It's not bad. I can still do stuff, so that's good. And I have a really sweet dear friend who really gets me, and I really get her. And she's has some pretty severe health issues, so I've been trying to help her out as much as I can. But it weighs heavy, you know. The whole like pre-grief is starting, I feel. Um, so I'm trying to, just love on her. um, okay. Top 3 priorities for this week, obviously self-care. I did get to move more last week, which was good, and I want to continue that through some gentle yoga. I'm rowing. I'm trying to get out and hike despite the heat. Not very super long hikes, like I'm keeping it, short. And make sure that my sleep gets better. So I think I might try doing sleepy tea before bed this week and see if that helps. Um, Reading, taking notes, and writing. I'm reading a book right now. I can't think of the name of it, but it's kind of talking about research methods and using phenomenology. Is a good research method for trauma and working with people. And what that basically is people sharing their experiences in their own words, and then like the research part of it is you record like an interview, so talking to people, and then you code, like look for patterns and code their responses to see what kind of like shows up across like a whole bunch of different people. So as I am preparing for my own research, I am constantly looking for different ways to approach it and what might be best. So like as I'm doing my research, I'm hoping it will provide context and insight for other professionals, especially court professionals, as to what people are really going through. So it's a really interesting book. Kind of heavy on terminology and stuff, but it's good. And I started rebranding some of my website pages, so I'm going to continue with that just to make sure like each of my different things, like my math page and my conflict coaching page and my education page, like I have different pages from the different things that I do are like color coded differently. Okay, 1 to 2 things that are really important to get done this week, and what is your plan for getting them done? Something that's on my mind is creating like a content calendar, kind of like Yoga with Adrian does a monthly calendar with like a yoga video every day. You just have to click on it and do the activity. So I'm thinking about doing something similar to that as I'm building up my content library on YouTube and my website. So I'm continuing to, like I said, build up that library. So in the fall, when I launch my Calm Conflict program, I can do like a monthly calendar where people can check in and do things to calm their nervous system and do things to learn and do things to grow. So that is kind of top of mind right now. And I want to finish working on my website. Well, that's always going to be a work in progress, but the thing that I'm working on. And, just keep blogging, creating content. So, word or phrase for this week is kind of go with the flow, but for me, I put go with the flood. Just because it flooded in my apartment last week. So go with the flow, go with the flood. I'm just going to see where it takes me. And what is your ratio of solitude to social time? I have very little social time this week, which is good. And I'm going to block off my calendar to protect it. Somebody's okay. So ratio of solitude to social time this week, I really need a lot to take care to get back inside my window of tolerance. Um, so I'm going to block off large chunks of my calendar so things can't be scheduled to make sure I get the rest and self-care that I need. Um, what do you want to make time to read, watch, or listen to this week? So like I mentioned before, I'm reading a book on trauma for my lit review and my research. And my son has been really into the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus, so I feel like as I might rewatch Star Wars. I think there's like an order you're supposed to go in for before you watch The Mandalorian, so that's up on my list. And last question is, what do you need answers to, and how will you get those answers? So I kind of want to know what's going on with my apartment and the leaks, but I don't really want to poke that bear quite yet. Um, I might email the property management company just to check in and see what's going on. If there's like a timeline for getting it fixed, or if they need to be in my apartment to fix it. Um, so that's what I need answers to this week. Other than that, let me know if you're interested in coaching around self-care, conflict, trauma, even mindset. I'm doing coaching around like math mindset, growth mindset, and I think that's it. So take care, and I will talk to you again.